What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're about to talk about some fall fishing tips, but something that a lot of people do not really throw as much this time of year, but it is very effective right now, is the Alabama rig. I've talked to a few of young anglers and even adults, and they're like, hey, you're really throwing the Alabama rig right now? And I'm like, yes, it's a quiet little deal. No matter where you're at in the country, the fall transition is happening, and there are a lot of bass keen on bait fish. So why not throw the Alabama rig? Now, guys, we're going to talk about a couple different Alabama rigs I like. I don't just have one. I have four right here that I've thrown, and I'm going to talk about different jig heads, different swim baits. Guys, here's a whole rig. This is just kind of like my small little Alabama rig bag right there. Like I said, I got a bunch of different jig heads here. I'm going to share just what I've learned throughout the last couple years of throwing the Alabama rig. Now, guys, before we do that, hey, go ahead. If you're interested in listening to a podcast, let's say you never have, you need it, and you're just driving, guys, or you're at work, want something to listen to, check out my podcast, Real Life in Fishing. Guys, I've started it. There are 6 episodes, I think, by the time you're seeing this. I have a 7th one already recorded. It's a pretty good podcast, man. I've had some great feedback on it. Check it out. Be most appreciative. Okay, guys, just the Alabama rig. Now, depending where you're at in the country, there are some that are just, you can't have 5 hooks on it, right? This right here is one with 5 hooks. And I know where I'm at in Arkansas, the BFL only lets you use 3 hooks. But there are states that will not let you use due to just the laws and just the decisions that were made. And now, guys, just a history on me and the Alabama rig. When it first hit the scene, guys, I mean, I was on it like a lot of anglers, trying to get my hands on some homemade ones. And I think the first time I threw it, I mean, I caught a double, and I was hooked, right? That first year it came out, I mean, I had a blast with it at Lake DeGray here in Arkansas. But then, guys, the Elite Series banned it, other circuits banned it, and it started, kind of getting outlawed. And then I was like, hey, I'm just not going to throw it then. Since they're not, I'm not going to throw it. Well, then, so a couple years went by. I don't know how many that was, 4 or 5 probably. And I still had some and would throw them occasionally. But then I finally I did. When forward-facing sonar came about and I got one, I was like, hey, and I knew people were catching good fish with them still. And I don't fish many tournaments, by the way, guys. I am now, but like there's this span where I just wasn't fishing tournaments. I did the high school stuff. So since I wasn't fishing tournaments, I just didn't need to throw it. I just didn't, right? But if you're fishing tournaments and it's allowed, times it's going to be a factor. So then with forward facing sonar came out, started throwing it more. And guys, the last year with the Alabama rig is, just for me, it's caught my personal best down there at the OH Ivy. A kid that two weeks ago caught his personal best with it also in a fall tournament, okay? So it can catch big fish, all right? So there's a reason why it's outlawed. I'm glad the professional circuits do have it outlawed. Alabama rig. So I have a few right here. One of the most popular ones I'm going to talk about first is the Yum Flash Mob Jr. One reason why they're popular is that they first came out that smaller one, but hey, this is easy to get. It's in Walmart. It's very accessible, so a lot of people have them. And of course, the word gets out how good they are, and the wires are strong, has a good profile, a good little bend with it, guys. But like I said, I have 4 other ones I want to talk about, but this one comes in a little pack. You can buy them individually, or you can buy them in this pack with these Yum Scottsboro swim baits. They had their own jig heads. I'm going to talk about the swim baits in a minute because I have a bunch that I throw. I love the Yum Scottsboro. So this right here is about $20, or maybe I think the individual rig $10. Another one that I'm throwing lately is a custom one with a local store in Central Arkansas. It's the Black Custom Lures Widowmaker. I think this is, I'm not sure, he has a couple, like designs. I mean, he's done this for years, ever since this came out, making them in his garage to now having other people help him. And I think this might be the second one maybe. But this one here, look, the thing I like about this, and I've been throwing them lately, it's a smaller. So that Yum Flash Mob caught that personal best for that high school kid I was just talking about that fished with me, and then mine as well. But the thing about the Flash Mob and difference with this is this is a little tighter. Now I can bend them and make it wider, but this flows the action pretty well tight. And at times, guys, with the rigs, I will switch it up. I will spread them out. I'll make them tighter just to kind of see what the fish want. Now another one, okay. Now this one became popular this last year. I'm not sure how long these have been out or how this long. This is another little custom little company too. I believe Shane's Baits. This is the Dominator 8. 8 blades. I believe this is one of the original ones with the 8 blade idea. One thing I like about these is, look, like, man, they were pretty smart with this little plastic here design, okay? And one thing you're starting to see with me that I do like, okay? And there's another company I'm going to show their rig. Look, it has a swivel on there. That swivel, man, just gives it a little extra, little, you know, a little spin in the water, okay? And also, I'm going to talk about this one here, you know, these other swim baits on here too as well. And then another one I've thrown, this is the 6th Sense Divine Junior. This is their Alabama rig Junior, or they call it the Umbrella rig Junior. One thing about this one that's good too, guys, is I'm not sure this one has 8 blades or not. I think this one here's a 4 blade. Some of them have 8 blades now, but this one has that swivel head. That swivel head's key, guys. I'm telling you, that swivel head is key, okay? So that's just the rigs that I've thrown in. Like, there's been some other ones. Like I said, lately, I'm throwing this guy right here, giving it a shot. And now let's talk about swim baits, okay? Let's talk about the swim baits. There's a lot I like to throw. Sometimes smaller is better. This right here are the Kitech Easy Shiners. I think these are what size are these? 3 inches? There they are, 3 inches right there. And we'll talk about these Jig Heads in a minute. Now, even look on this Alabama rig real quick. This is a different jig head than this one, and this one's different. I got 3 different jig heads on this dude. Don't know why. Talk about that later. So that's one Kitech that I like. Here's the young Scottsboro. This is the 3.5-inch size right here. Sexy shad color. Man, these young Scottsboros, they're great, okay? The ones that I caught my DD on was a young Scottsboro, but even that trip at OH, we caught them on multiple different swim baits. One of them that I like, that I kind of grew to like, are these dudes. These are the Divine Swimmers by 6th Sense. These are the 3.2 size, yeah, 3.2. They have a couple variety of sizes. This is that ghost ice color, really good in clear water. These things are soft, man. They have great action in the water. Of course, guys, Kitech. I just talked about the Easy Shiner. Here's the Fat Swing Impacts. These dudes are good, okay? I mean, everybody knows these guys are good, but these, man, like, they thought the water touches them and they just move and have great action, okay? So Kitech, everybody knows, popular one. Now, what else I got in this bag? Let's just look. Oh, the Spark Shads. We got some Spark Shads. Can't go wrong with Spark Shads. And then, so I have a few young Scottsboro. I got some smaller Scottsboros right here. Look. So I got these smaller Scottsboro. These are the 3 inches here. I got them all the way up to the 4, okay? So just the swim baits right there. I think I got all the swim baits. The 6th Sense, Kitech, so a couple different brands there on the swim baits. Now, Jig Heads, okay? Jig Heads, guys. I got a variety right here. These 6th Sense ones are great. They're sometimes hard to get. This is a custom one here in Nashville, Arkansas, where I'm located. M&M Custom Lures. I have their 4 and 3/0 size. I'll put, of course, all my baits and stuff's in the description, but these right here are great. Strong hooks. This is the one that I actually caught my double digit with, so it can catch big fish. Owner, these are good, okay? I like these for my smaller swim baits, okay? I know you're over here like, hey, that's a 3-inch swim bait. Well, what hooks are you using? This Owner's good, and then Blacks also has some jig heads as well. Now, think about the Blacks that are nice, and it depends on who you are, okay? I know some people prefer the screw lock, some don't. They're a pain to get them on, but guys, they do stay on typically a little longer and last for a few more fish catches, okay? So there's that. And so guys, I think I've talked about everything. Here's some more Fat Swing Impacts. What color is this? This is that Pro Blue Red Pearl right there. So guys, just a couple things. I think I've talked about everything on the Alabama rig. One thing I know you noticed is that this was dyed. Last year, now this one I haven't thrown this year. This was just one pulled out of the deal. Last year, one thing I did was playing with the dye colors, dyeing the tails, different colors, and then dyeing one whole things just to see if, like, this one looks red, if they'll just come up there and eat it, okay? Might share those results in some other videos. So like even right here, look at these jig heads. 6 Sense one, 6 Sense one. Then that's the M&M custom one right there. So on this one rig here, I had 3. They were different weights, and I just have the weights a little distributed differently. So this weight here is that Owner, okay? That's the 1/8 size. And then this one is, these are 1/16, okay? So I just try to switch the weight up size just to kind of keep in the water and try to get that perfect running form, okay? And I know there are some guys that will talk about the colors of the heads matter and kind of going into more of that. On my setup, I throw on Denali Attack 710. It's extra heavy, fast, okay? I've even thrown it on I have a 7.6 rod over here. I even threw it on the other day. I'd rather throw on that 710, but my big spoon was on it. So guys, Let me know what you think about the rigs. I know I haven't talked about areas or where to throw them. I might do that in another video if your guys are interested, because once again, I threw this thing with before the forward facing sonar, but with it, of course, it helps to not get it hung up. Speaking of hung up, I did have some weighted hooks. I should have brought them out, some weighted hooks, lightweight. They're 1/16 or even 3/64 maybe, to where like they were the Texas rig with the worm style offset EWG hook, to where it would not where it'd be weedless. I should have brought those out. Just thought about that. But guys, ever since I've with the live scope, I can see it. I don't really worry about it being weedless as much. But guys, if you're interested in me talking about more where to throw it, what to look at, there's a lot to it. Okay. The best thing about it is, just at the top of my head, is, let's say you don't have forward facing sonar, just from what we learned. One thing is to understand the count. Sit at your boat, find like 10 foot. Okay. Drop it down. All right. Count till it hits the bottom, and then you can throw it out. And I say 10 foot, just it could be 20 foot, but just make sure you're around an area that's like flat. It might not get hung up. Then you can go 20 foot, drop it, count, kind of get that idea. Then you can throw it. So throw it out in front of you, like a normal cast. Count, try to follow it with the slack until it hits the bottom. So then you know the depth you're in. Think about the Alabama rig that's just from before, and now with the forward facing sonar. Before, a lot of guys are slow load on the bottom, and you can slow load on the bottom, right? But then you might get it hung up. Definitely if you don't have forward face. So this is pre-forward face. So guys are slow load on the bottom, but the ones that are really good with it figured out that, hey, those fish are looking up a lot of the times, depending on the sunlight and conditions, and you want this thing reeled above them. So if they're just kind of here around brush or in trees, let's say, like I said, you reel that thing right above them. If you hit it in the right way where they're looking, they're going to come up and eat it or come up and be curious. So you don't always with this have to, it's not like a crankbait. Like a crankbait, you're dragging the bottom, you're hitting raw, like a jig, you're feeling it. This guy kind of treated like a jerkbait. A jerkbait, a lot of times, you're jerking it, and then you kill it, and then fish are coming up or following it. This, you're not going to really kill it. You can kind of switch the retrieves up and kind of figure out, because there are some times that could be a deal. But this is more of, you're trying to draw fish from cover, okay? You're not trying to get that reaction strike of banging it off and them just coming and eating it, okay? So just remember that the Alabama rig. So if you don't have forward facing sonar, which is fine, so you don't need it. People won tournaments with them. Paul Ice won the tournament. They caught a lot of fish. That was pre-Alabama rig. But there's been a lot of guys catch fish with this without it, and you still can. Vertical structure's easy. I know, man. There are some lakes, if you have them bluff walls, throwing it down them bluff walls. That's good. Staining timber, throwing this above staining timber, just like brush. And even going up and down the bank, guys, there's one thing I learned about it is you can throw this thing shallow and catch fish. Definitely in the upcoming months. Let's say that you got a good wind-blown point. Don't be afraid to throw this dude up there and treat it like a spinnerbait, and it will get hammered, okay? So, guys, hope you learned some stuff about the Alabama rig. Let me know if you have any tricks, secrets, or rigs that you like, any homemade ones. And I appreciate it, guys. We'll see you on the next one.